There is a loss of jobs in South Africa, in fact, from load shedding to job shedding.
I must call a pastor to take you out now.
German card.
You must make sure that you are one of the people who are going to deliver economic freedom in our lifetime.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, the people of South Africa, Africa, and the diaspora. And thanks very much for tuning into this week's installment of the EFF podcast. My name is Titus. And this week I bring you the newly appointed MMC for Environmental and Agriculture Management in the City of Tshwane. He's also the chairperson of the EFF in Tshwane region. Fighter Obakeng, thank you very much for making time, and congratulations are in order. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Titus, to the EFF members and the supporters and the public at large, the people of Tshwane. I'm grateful to be hosted here, and thank you.
The people of Tshwane are blessed to have a battalion like you appointed as the MMC for Environment and Agriculture. How do you feel about your appointment, MMC?
I'm very grateful, and I don't take that for a right. I think to be given such responsibility in a metro, it's a part of a motion of confidence from the side of my organization that has entrusted me on making sure that we go and change the lives of the people of Tshwane. And we are hitting the ground. I mean, we are only three weeks on the ground. We are already doing the work that we are voted to do. And we promise that we will try to do our best to make sure that our people benefits and our people enjoy service delivery.
Yeah. Talking about service delivery, the mayor has introduced something called the 100-day plan of action, and also that speaks to your portfolio, which is environmental and agriculture management. Of course, this is not the 100-day of the GNU. Can you just unpack some of the plans that are entailed in the 100-day plan of action?
Sure. So we have realized that there are many issues that needs to be attended to from the side of the municipality, particularly the Department of Agriculture and Environmental Management. That department is very important because you must know that the waste collection is collected in that department, and to clean the streets, to clean the townships, to deal with the illegal dumping, you rely on that department to make sure that our townships are clean. So we have lined up our 100 days program. Our 100 days program, of course, inspired by the manifesto of the EFF of local government. Part of the things that we are going to deal with in the next 100 days is to make sure that we deal with illegal dumping. We have already started in the townships where we are having teams that are working daily to make sure that we clear illegal dumpings, because they are not good for the environment, they are not good for health of our people. But most important is to educate our people to make sure that they understand that illegal dumping is not right for our communities. Part of the things that we've discovered, which we are going to work on, is the piloting in the next 100 days of the bins. We don't have bins in the CBD, in the townships, hence people litter everywhere around the city. We are also going to deal with issues of waste collection. There are areas that don't get the waste collections, particularly in the squatter camps. We have came with a program where we are going to make sure that our people are being given plastics bags, and they must have a spot where the trucks are going to collect daily in those areas, because some of the places our trucks are not able to enter all those informal settlement. And we work together with the community. Within these 3 weeks, we have launched a campaign which every Friday we go to a township in the in the city to clean up with the community. We have many NGOs that have joined us, making sure that we clean our areas. Can tell that our people were waiting for leadership. The leadership that has been there for the past 8 years, they've been relying on the PR campaign. Our people were not able to interact with the leadership. Our people, they were not able to have an access of leadership. I mean, for the past 3 weeks, we have embarked on the door-to-door, where we are engaging our people about the illegal dumping. And our people are very happy to communicate with us and telling us their problems. Why do we have illegal dumping? What is the challenge and all that? We are going to launch the Backyard Dwellers program. The Backyard Dwellers meaning the people who stays in the back room were not able to pay for rates because of the arrangement they have with the landlord. So part of the things that we are going to do is to make sure that we engage with the landlords and make sure that the backyard dwellers, they are part of the waste collections. I mean, if you were giving them a certain size of a bin that was catered for that house, you were not counting the backyard dwellers. Now we are going to increase the size of the bin and make sure that the backyard dwellers also are not part of the people who are doing illegal dumping. Because if they don't have where they can throw their rubbish, they will only throw it in any space that they get at the certain areas of Tshwane.
Mm-hmm. And how different will the city of Tshwane look like apart from the DA-led city of Tshwane? I understand now the EFF is in co-governance with Action SA. Would you say part of the CBD like Maraba Stad will be more cleaner this time around?
I think if you are on the social media, of course, we don't rely on social media on the feedback, but part of the social media, they are acknowledging that there are changes. Part of the things that we have done is to change shifts. In the city of Tshwane, we're not having the night shifts workers. We've introduced that because they were talking about issues of finances, budget and all that. We have zoomed in and understood what is the problem about the budget. Can we move certain funds from where they are not utilized and deal with the issue of the night shift? That night shift in Sunnyside, in the Pretoria CBD, in the Pretoria West, in the Centurion CBD, it's even Brongospruit, it's very effective. We are now going to introduce the night shift programs in Mabopane Station, in Soshanguve, in Hammanskraal. We are still dealing with the issue of security because they have alerted us about the security issues in those areas. When they work at night, the workers may get mugged and all that. So we're dealing with that. But also, we want to introduce the teams that are going to be in the CBD, making sure that our town is clean. We want to introduce the inspectors. Those inspectors will make sure that during the day they scout the area and making sure that where they get a dirty area, they call the team to come and clean the area. We are also engaging with the hawkers in the CBD. We are meeting the leadership of the hawkers in due course. Of course, we are going to go with certain MMCs of different departments. Economic department is one of them. And we are going to engage them about how can we clean the streets. We are going also to go with the MMC for transport so that we engage with the taxi owners and the taxi operators, because taxi operators and the hawkers are the ones who are in charge of that space. And we want to get them to understand that that is their area and they must work with the municipality to make sure that we clean up our city.
Mm-hmm. You came with the concept Reaspana.
Yeah.
What motivated this initiative?
No, we have noticed that there was a sense of leadership that was not interested on delivering to our people. As I was saying, that it was a PR exercise leadership. I mean, they were just doing videos, and just communicating with the people of Tshwane. Now we are introducing Reaspana. We don't say only us. We are talking about everyone in the city of Tshwane, including communities, churches, different stakeholders. I just spoken about the hawkers, the taxi drivers. We want to involve everyone in making sure that our town is clean. Want to involve everyone making sure that our townships are clean. But I can tell you, you can drive to Atteridgeville, you can drive to Mamelodi, drive to Shanguve. There's a huge difference, and we are only 3 weeks. You can imagine that what is going to happen, because we have bigger plans about how we can deal with the issues of illegal dumping. We have also enforced the bylaws. There's a bylaws of a fine of 5,000 rand if we get you doing an illegal dumping, especially with a car. We are impounding your car. We are working with the Metro Police to making sure that that those who are doing illegal dumping, their cars are impounded and they get a necessary fine. But we will impose this fine more when after we deal with issues of the bins, issues of the backyard dwellers, issues of educating our people about the illegal dumping. We have already cleared many illegal dumpings in the entrance of the townships. If you can go to Atteridgeville now, all the entrance, they have the board of illegal dumping fine, warning our people that you don't have to dump here because it's not good for our community.
Yeah, talking about communities in Tshwane, rainwater has disrupted water supply in those communities, particularly in parts of Joburg as well as Tshwane, in areas such as Soshanguve, Mabopane, and Atteridgeville. There was, a shortage of water in the past few weeks. How are you dealing with that situation, and what is the status quo as we speak?
I think we have communicated. Like I was saying, there was a problem of not communicating with our people. We have communicated with our people about the rainwater problem. I mean, there's a nationwide shortage of water currently, and we were even instructed in my department to close some of the swimming pools until further notice. So we are experiencing a problem of water nationwide, and we are engaging with the rainwater. I know that the mayor and the deputy mayor are engaging with them, and we are happy to say we are currently not having any debt with the rainwater. We are working with them very well, and we are intending to maintain the relationship. But we think that our people understood the problem that we had. We have since dealt with the problems. Most of the reservoirs are starting to pump water, and most of the areas have recovered. And we think that rainwater working with us will make sure that that problem doesn't occur. But it's a bigger problem. It's a problem of shortage of water, and we think that working together will make sure that that problem is being resolved, because it's not a right thing to do to rely on water tankers, particularly when you check the corruption that is happening in the water tankers. We don't think it's a way to go, but in terms of emergency, where we have incidents like the one of last week, we can try to see if we can assist our people. But what we are happy about is that in the areas that were affected, our people were assisted successfully. In the regions, we made sure that our people have access of water. Meantime, we have a shortage of water for those interrupted days.
Yeah, and how were they assisted?
They were assisted through the water tankers, yes.
Yeah, and talking about the water tankers, there's an issue about contaminated water, particularly when we look at the community of Hammanskraal. We know people have complained, died of cholera and all of that. How safe was that water that was provided in the intervening period?
We have agreed with the MMC, who's responsible for that department, to make sure that all the trucks, before they are taken to the community, there must be a thorough inspection that is made by the department. We don't rely on service providers, but that space, the space that has been managed by the MMC, who's responsible for human settlement. We also receive a report today, as I speak. We are from a MECO caucus. We receive a report about the developments. We receive a report about how safe the water was and the inspection process that happened. So we have learned from the experience of the cholera of Hammanskraal, and we make sure that every time when there's an issue of water tank, there must be a thorough inspection so that our people are not victims of incompetence.
Yeah, so what will be different from an Action SA EFF core governance in terms of providing services to the most remote, perhaps, areas where in the previous administration people couldn't benefit from that particular administration? You spoke about introducing the issue of refuse collection in informal settlement, which I doubt under the DA, the people in informal settlement had waste collection. Yeah.
So we have a very capable executive mayor who is hardworking. I mean, she calls us for war rooms of 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. So we have a team that we are working together. Of course, we know that we belong to different political parties, but we have a team of the mayoral committee that has dedicated its time to make sure that services are delivered to our people. I mean, we have a track record process that we have weekly where we understand where was this MMC, what did this MMC done the previous 4 days, and we have where we track and monitoring system. But we are, most of those MMCs are coming from political parties with constituencies that is mostly in the townships. And you can't stay without servicing your people. I mean, we know that the DA used to take services to the affluent areas. Most of them are their supporters in the areas where they know that they enjoy support. We have came with a program that services are going to be given to everyone. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what is your color of your skin. Everywhere where we think that there must be services, there must be services delivered. We have a war room that is weekly. A war room is where we trace in the regions issues of cemeteries, issues of service delivery, issues of sewer spillage, issues of outrage, electricity, cut, and all that. So we are able to trace that. But over and above, we have encouraged our councillors and our MMCs and our activists to be on the ground. In the EFF, we work with our councillors and the branch leaders. So all these departments, Department of the MMC of Health and Department of the MMC of Environmental, work hand in hand with the councillors and the community to make sure that every time when there's a program, we're able to communicate to our people. Every time when there's a service delivery query, they are able to complain or to lodge a complaint. I mean, on these 3 weeks since we've become MMCs, I think I've assisted close to 60 people who complain on Twitter by just posting sewer spillage and I say write the address. Yes, where they identify the illegal dumping, they just take a picture and we attend to that, and they come back and acknowledge the work that we are doing. So it was a matter of government of the people, and we think that we must be a government of the people. We must be able to know the problems of our people. Of course, you can't know the problems of your people if you don't relate with them, if you don't spend a lot of time with them. We encourage that we are still ordinary, despite that we are those MMC's positions, but we must be able to visit our township like we did. For instance, I got a message from someone saying they are not happy with the cemetery in a certain area. They were in the funeral this weekend. I've already instructed the divisional heads that on Friday, we're going to have a program of making sure that all the cemeteries, 14 of them in the city of Tshwane, must be cleaned. If we have more resources, it can be a weekly basis, because that area is visited by our people every weekend to go and bury their loved ones. Why not? Why can't we clean it? But the other thing that we have noticed, the cemeteries in the townships compared to the affluent areas are totally different, and we're not blaming anyone. We just want all these cemeteries to be on the same standard with the townships and the affluent areas.
How is the community receiving you? How is the reception and the feedback? What sense are you getting on the ground? Are people satisfied with the new government in Tshwane?
I think they are receiving us very well. We have started the program of embarking on imbizos in the townships, because the previous government couldn't go to the people. I don't know if they were scared or what. We are visiting all the townships. This weekend we are in Garankuwa. We went even in Refilwe, where we go with all the MMCs and the community can engage them. with the frustration that they get, service delivery frustration and all that. So we think that by going to the community, that's where we'll understand how they feel about this new government. But so far, so good. We are getting support from our people. Our people are very excited to a point where you are scared that you must not disappoint them, because it looks like the past 8 years of the DA government was an 8 years of hell.
Absolutely. Talking about the 8 years of hell, we know that the City of Tshwane, under the previous administration, entered into an MOU with AfriForum. Currently, there is a review. What is the latest regarding that? And we understand your position as the EFF has always been that it should be taken under review. What is the latest?
I think that issue of MOU must not be reduced into an AfriForum issue. We have currently asked for a report. Then we discovered that we have 64 MOUs in the City of Tshwane with different MAU, in different departments, different criterias and all that. We are going to review all of them. And reviewing them is not like we're targeting AfriForum, but the AfriForum MOU specifically. And there's one in the Department of Health that the MEC of Health of the EFF is dealing with. I will touch on that. The MOU with the City Health Department and the University of Pretoria. I'll touch on that.
Okay.
We pay them close to 40 million every year. So I'll touch on that. I'll touch on
Absolutely.
that. The MOU of AfriForum, there's a clause that says AfriForum must have an access of our infrastructure. And the constitution of this country gives the local government municipality to be the custodians of service delivery and making sure that service delivery is being given to our people. And by doing that, it means that they are also in charge of the infrastructure of the city. Now, if you give AfriForum an access to our infrastructure, it means they can go to a reservoir anytime, the reservoir that our people drink water. It means they can go to a power station anytime they want because they have access to our infrastructure. It means they can enter any park and cut grass. It means they can do anything they want because they have a memorandum of understanding with the municipality that they are part of the municipality. In a way, that agreement with Brink and the DA using our municipality and their friends, AfriForum, it was the selling of the highest bidder to the AfriForum. Our municipality was about to be sold. That's my understood.
They claimed this for free.
There's no free lunch. And former Judge Mogoeng has told you that there's no free lunch, correctly so. They want to have access of our infrastructure so that they use the AfriForum ticket, because AfriForum is an affiliation of FF Plus and the DA politically.
Absolutely.
So AfriForum, if you have to make it in a simple way, is the COSATU of the ANC. So they want to take the AfriForum and they go and pretend as if they are cleaning, and they go and report that AfriForum and the DA has cleaned our areas. No problem. They can do that if they want to use the municipality for that. But what is worse, they only concentrate in their areas. We told them that we don't have a problem. But why do you want to pretend as if your memorandum of understanding was about cleaning or supporting us in the entire city? But with what happened, you are only focusing in your areas. So it means that you can do it without us, because many NGOs are doing it currently, and they gave us an impression that they have capacity to help us everywhere, including in the township. Someone on Twitter says, why should they clean your township? Why don't you clean them? It's not me, it's the MOU. They didn't tell us that they are going to clean Waterkloof. They told us that they are going to help us to clean up the city. And when we call them to say, come and help us in Atteridgeville, in Mushongo, they don't want to go there because it was a false MOU from their side. They were not interested in helping us. They want to secure their interest. They want to make sure that white privilege stayed in the city of Tshwane. You know, I don't know if people of South Africa have noticed how people of Tshwane, particularly Afrikaners, are obsessed with Pretoria, Tshwane. They think that they are entitled.
The capital city.
Yes, they think that they are entitled. Hence, they just want to do things as they want. I mean, the offices of AfriForum, I just left them. I wanted to make a program of cleaning outside their offices. Outside their offices in Centurion. There's a lot of grass there in the park. Why don't they start there if they are genuine about cleaning our areas?
Charity begins at home.
Yes. So I don't think it's about targeting the AfriForum. It's about reviewing the MOU, and we will decide as the mayoral committee on what we are seeing there, because there are legal issues also, the issues of bylaws. There's a lot of breaches of our bylaws in their MOU that we need to look into. But if they agree with how we think it must happen, part of that is that if you help us, we don't have a problem, but you must also help us in the townships, which I doubt.
And this MOU is meant to be for 5 years. Is there no financial benefit for AfriForum? Because there are claims that this is for free. Is there anything that we are missing?
When they embark on the program of cleaning, at some point they were working with our team. So our team is not, there are finances there. For our team to go to that area, there are expenses, because there are workers who must work overtime. There's a fleet of the municipality. There are equipments of the municipality that must go and assist them, because they must not claim that they have everything. They may have few machines, and we are not jealous about their work. We appreciate if they want to assist, but they can't have the capacity that the municipality have, because this is a municipality. They are not a municipality. They may have grass cutters machines there and there, and we'll have to get our equipments to make sure that we join hands with their programs so that the program can be successful.
Yeah.
For instance, they don't have a problem of illegal dumping in their area, mainly because the population, but also they can afford to pay the rates. They can afford to make sure that their waste is collected consistently. So our problems are not the same. And that is the problem about what is happening in this country. We think that when we call for a white privilege, we are racist. We are not doing that. We are just saying our problems are not the same, and our problems are not going to be the same until we deal with issues of economic emancipation. We deal with issues of economic freedom in our lifetime. We deal with issues of making sure that our people benefits from the means of production. Our people benefits from the mainstream of economy. That picture is still showing in the affluent areas of the Pretoria. If you go to Pretoria University, you go outside and you check the cars there that are outside. I can tell you, out of those cars, only 5% you'll get a black young woman or a young man using that car. Most of them are just walking, but the white ones have cars, they have apartments, and we don't have a problem with that. That is a sign of that our problems are not the same, and it's because of our historical background and what happened. That's why we're trying to correct it. When we correct it, we're called names, we're called racist, we're called all sort of names. The last part on this issue, the MOU of Pretoria University and the health department, we are also going to review, because it's part of the 64. They have a program with the Department of Health in the City of Tshwane, where they deal with drug suspend abuse, and they are assisting the drug addicts with the issues of rehabilitation, issues of making sure that they are taken to rehab. We pay them 40 million a year, but we don't see any progress. I mean, the report that we have seen, it doesn't show that we have progress on that. So we have to also review that MOU.
And what brought this to your attention? With AfriForum, I would understand that obviously residents in informal settlement wouldn't see them cutting grass in their areas, and that could have given some sort of a highlight that there's a problem. But with the other 63 or 64 MOUs that the City of Tshwane has entered into, what what stood out and what made you discover that they could be shenanigans?
We don't think all of them there are problems. Hence, we want to review them. But there are many MOUs that are progressive, and we think that we'll review. That's why we want to review 64 of them. There are many NGOs that are working with us. Some of them are helping even to feed homeless people on the streets. Some of them are assisting us with homeless shelters. Some of them are doing the work of making sure that they assist grannies in terms of delivering nutrition and making sure that they eat healthy. So there are many MOUs that we are going to check on them. Some of them assist us on security issues, but not in detail. They don't get access. They can assist us when we have a problem where Metropolis is overwhelmed. So there are many MOUs that we have, and we are still going to sign more. We must not be told that we don't want MOUs. We are going to sign more. The problem is that we have asked for the review of an MOU of privileged people. And that privilege makes them to lie and to go in the media, and saying that we don't want progress, we want to cut the relationship of the City of Tshwane and AfriForum of cutting grass. I mean, I just told you that our cemetery are not in good condition. So we have a problem of grass and all that. Why will we chase the people who want to help us? We are doing that because they are not doing it for the best interest of the people of Tshwane. They are doing it for themselves and to make sure that they protect their constituency and their privilege. That's what is happening. They are not interested at all. And we are going to check clause by clause so that we satisfy ourselves. We have given the document to legal of the city so that they can see if we haven't breached any law with that. And I can tell you certainly that if we find anything that is not in line with the bylaws of the city, we are going to ask that AfriForum must excuse itself from our assets and from our city.
What is your reflection on the first 100 days of the GNU? What are some of the weaknesses that you may have observed? And considering that you are in core governance and GNU is due to be involving almost all political parties, but obviously the EFF is not part, but we know the GNU to be the grand coalition. What are some of your key takeaways from the first 100 days of the GNU in comparison with core governance in Gauteng?
I think that's why it's very difficult. I don't know what is happening in Gauteng. Maybe the Premier of Gauteng can explain whether he's I don't know what is happening in Gauteng. I know that the DA is not part, but they are part of government nationally. This political situation in Gauteng, I think, it's going to work well for our people, particularly in the municipalities and the province. The province without the DA is doing very well. And I think it's high time, if it permits, that the EFF must join the Gauteng government, because part of the reason why we don't join is the involvement of DA and FF Plus, and I don't think they are part of that government. And I think that there must be talks that the EFF must also be part of government, because we are already part of government in the metros, and we work hand in hand with the MECs of different departments, and there's a good working relationship. But I'm saying, that is not my space, and I can't reject the question. I just want to touch on that. I'm a regional leader. I lead in City of Tshwane, but of course I'm a politician. I'm clued up with the current affairs. But what I've observed is that the GNU in the national government is not doing well, because it looks like it's far from the people. I know that there's a bogus poll that was released today that the DA and the ANC are doing very well on the GNU. I don't agree, because our people are far. If you can ask about certain ministers, we ask who's the Minister of Public Works, people are going start asking themselves. They only know Stenays and
Yeah.
because of obvious reasons. So we think that
Because they're not on the ground, these people.
they are not on the ground. They are not engaging our people. Our people are not aware on what is happening. Actually, some of the people think that the ANC is still in charge because when they see Ramaphosa and Mbalula talking the whole day on TV, they think that it's still the same. We had the same problem in Tshwane. After the ANC lost the municipality, because the ANC was not able to communicate to the people after Dr. Sputla Ramokgopa that there are no more government. People were thinking, even under the DA, that it's still the ANC.
Yeah.
Because they thought it's still like that, considering even services, maybe they were still the same. They thought, no, we are still having the same government that we are trying to reject. So our people are not yet to understand what is happening. Maybe we must give them a chance. It's still early. But you see cracks already. You see... they are speaking in tongues. They don't have the Helen Zilla will say this on the other side. Mbalula will say this. Mbalula will say they can leave anytime. You know, you can see that they are just fed up with their relationship, and it's unfortunate that it happened within 3 months. It looks like it's going to be a long way. The 5 years that we are approaching, I don't think the GNU will arrive there.
Yeah, because Ramaphosa attends the BRICS and describes the South African relationship or diplomatic relationship with Russia,
Sure.
that Russia remains our ally. And there goes Helen Zille to say
Say a different thing. So you
say
can
a
see
different
that,
thing. And also the deputy president of the country, Paul Mashatile, announces the date for, I think, the national dialogue. And she
Yes.
goes and says this goes against the agreement that they entered into in the statement of intent of this
Sure.
so-called GNU. So I think you're quite spot on when you say there are cracks already when we look at the setup of the GNU and what is panning out.
like I'm saying, they won't reach the 5 years. They won't reach the 5 years, and we hope that our people are going to learn that the only government that they must install currently that makes sense is the EFF.
Yeah.
I mean, the EFF has stood the test of time. I mean, the last elections of the EFF were very hard. We were on the ground ourselves, trying to make sure that we campaign for the organization. I think we've seen that it was very difficult, and the mainstream media, the capital, were fighting to make sure that it's the death of the EFF. And unfortunately, our people responded to defend the revolution and to defend the EFF. Even now, we're under attack with certain issues. And I think the EFF is going to survive because the EFF was not made by these things that are happening. The EFF was formed when it was not fashionable. I mean, when it was formed, we were wearing berets without even a logo. When it was formed, some of us, we were just even not sure what to do. And the EFF educated us and made sure that we are able to know what is leadership. And it's almost 11 years now. I mean, we can't disappear now because an individual is leaving, an individual is saying this. If the EFF is not made by individual, it will survive the test of time. And we are monitoring what is happening, and we think that it's the right time. It must happen. Where it must happen to test the comrades and the caliber of the activists who are part of the EFF. Have you joined the EFF for your certain benefits? Have you joined the EFF because someone has joined the EFF? Or have you joined the EFF to go and assist our people on the ground? Or have you joined the EFF to make sure that our people experience service delivery, our people experience government that they deserve? So I'm not that worried about the situation that is happening. I think it's the right thing to happen so that the EFF can pass the test of time.
Yeah. So the EFF is clearly vindicated considering the sequence of events or the current political moment where you have people who have left the EFF and talk bad about the EFF, and you wonder whether these people voted for us or not.
I think we it's just that maybe those are the names of people who are maybe known, but I'm not convinced because there are people who leave the EFF time to time, ordinary people. There are many people who join the EFF. And just because those people, they don't announce. I mean, every time when we have programs there in Tshwane, we sign up new members who are joining EFF. Even now in my inbox, because of the work that we're doing, people are beginning to say, we want to join the EFF, we want to support the EFF. People who leave the EFF, I suggest that we don't need to respond to them. Because people who leave the EFF, most of them are interested on making sure that the EFF get destroyed because they don't care anymore. Maybe they pretended as they care before, but now as we speak, they don't care. Hence, they can go and try some propaganda, try to say something. I mean, I was listening to the Deputy President just yesterday. He was asked the former Deputy President, or I don't know this. What is his position now?
Yeah, Floyd.
We are used to call him a Deputy President. The former Deputy President, who's now a selected SG of Mkondo, unelected, it must be noted. I was listening to him when he was asked a question about the president, and then he was very angry, and then he was asked a question about Dr. Ndlozi, and then he wanted to answer and say he's my brother, whatever. So he's trying by all means to cause divisions. He's trying to make sure that there's a tension. He's trying to show that to make sure that we must start suspecting other members of the EFF and all that. And he's doing it deliberately because it looks like part of the agenda of Mkondo Sizwe, according to my observation, is to destroy the EFF, which they won't win because I think the EFF has passed the test of time. And I think the EFF will survive. And the EFF was not made by individuals who don't understand what they were doing. So I don't think it will work. And I think we must release them and avoid even to exchange with them on social media. I know that it may be difficult. We have to defend the organization. But what we are doing is correct as the public representative of the EFF. I mean, when you open your EFF page on Twitter or you open a Twitter page, it's just the work of public representative working for our people.
Yeah.
Our people are aware about the work of the EFF, and I don't think they are taking it for granted.
Yeah. What is your view on elected versus appointed officials of an organization? And how would you then characterize those organizations that do not subscribe to elective conferences?
I think they are cowards, particularly those who used to preach democracy where they come from, and then when they go to a certain party, they change and say they must be selection and there must not be conferences. I think they are not honest. I mean, any process that is not democratically taken upon is not working. You can't just keep on appointing people. I mean, appointment means that friends just get into a boardroom, 6 of them, and then they appoint an individual. And I don't think it's the will of the people. I don't think our people deserve to be treated like that. I don't think the EFF must even try that to give us a person and impose that person to us without any democratic process. I mean, democracy, it has shown, even in this country, apart that we are not satisfied in terms of the economy and all that, but in terms of stability and dealing with the past and dealing with making sure that there's a clear transition, democracy was the order of the day. Democracy was at the center of elections in 1994. Democracy has worked in the EFF. The democracy in the EFF has made sure that the EFF is stable. If it was not democracy, people were just going to start fighting because they are going to accuse the leadership of appointing their friends in the position of leadership. So I don't think it's sustainable to rely on appointing. Of course, when you are at the formation stage, you can do that, but you can't even appoint a person and call him a deputy president, because those must be voted. At least you must just say coordinator, convener, go to the conference and go and make sure that that those people get elected openly. So if you are a party that wants to run this country, why do you want to do things secretly? Why do you want to do things where people are not aware on the part of democracy? What happened? How did this person got appointed? Why this person has this position? So I don't agree with appointment. I agree with democracy. Going to the conference, discussing policies, and electing leadership without any favor and fear.
And also, you don't believe in paying into the personal account of a leader. I mean, the EFF has got a bank account for the organization, but there were members of some political parties that were allegedly paying into the account of Obab.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't. Those are not things that we experience in the EFF. We have been in the EFF for quite some time. Any decision that the EFF has taken, we agree with. I mean, this FNB Stadium rally, if it was not us public representative, of course, led by the leadership, we were not going to achieve to have this historical rally. And many people will say, you've paid buses. Who must pay buses? Because we have to take part of this organization. We have to make sure that we service this organization, because if we don't service this organization, it's going to be supported by other external forces, and they are going to take over our organization. They are going to control the organization. They are going to tell the leadership what to do because they are giving them money. And I'm happy that we are contributing on growing the organization. I mean, all the organization are paying party levies, but I've never seen the EFF sending me a bank account of President Malema and saying, put in this Capitec savings account. I've never seen that, and I think this is an organization. Yeah. It's not a Mickey Mouse, where things are running correctly and they are run professional, and we feel at home. Some will say, because you are an MMC, this is the things that you have seen. We've joined this thing when we were not MMCs.
Yeah.
Why we didn't leave that time if we wanted to leave? So the people will always talk and try to change our views. We are fully in support of this leadership, and we are guided. We are not going to do our own things. We are going to be guided, because this organization, if we are not able to be guided, it's just going to go into the hands of people who don't have any interest of this organization. We're only 11 years. We're still stable, and people wish that we must break away, and we won't do that, because we listen to the leadership. Even when people can say it's a dictatorship, they don't know what is dictatorship. They must go and check it somewhere in KZN. What is the dictatorship?
Yeah,
because
the true meaning
is people who give you their personal account.
Yeah,
dictatorship is people who says, come and attend a celebration of my wife and appreciate that my wife has been loyal to me. So we are happy. We are doing very well.
Yeah,
and we don't think that there must be. Of course, this is an organization. It will have issues that requires politicians to engage on. So if you think that there must not be issues in the EFF, those issues are political issues that are dealt with politically. And they are not a problem. I don't think we are in a crisis. If people goes to a conference and prefer certain people, there's nothing wrong. Maybe people who are used to be selected, they think that there's something wrong about the leadership preference.
And the EFF finances the revolution, not individuals.
Yes.
Now, the EFF president and the commander-in-chief, Julius Malema, took a very brave, very courageous decision in defending the movement, defending the revolution, and refused to give up on the economic freedom fighters, despite attempts to convert, or rather to collapse the EFF and merge it with MKP in the name of progressive unity. As a loyal member of the EFF, how do you feel about this decision by the CIC to say no? Economic freedom in our lifetime is definitely going to be achieved under the banner of EFF and nothing else.
I think that was a good decision. I think we have a president who have the best interest of the country, but also best interest of this movement. I mean, this movement or this revolutionary movement, it comes very far. And there are many people who are looking forward and they trust on this movement. I mean, if you go and sell it to an 83-year-old retired president, doesn't make sense, because this organization, the block of its vote, or the majority of its vote, is from young people who are asking for the young leadership to lead them. I mean, part of the reason why we got attracted to the EFF is because we also got tired about being led by older people who don't understand the vision, who can plan for us. I mean, 83-year-old person can't plan 30 years from now for me. I will reach that 30 years as long as I take care of myself and I make sure that I do things correctly. I'll reach that 30 years of age, but I don't think an 83-year-old will reach it. It's not even about individual. It's just science. It's just a reality of what is happening. So I think he did very well.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a test of if he can sell the EFF. And he has shown us many times when people accused him of taking the wide monopoly capital money. And we always, because we knew him from the Youth League, from COSAS, we understand his politics and we understand his principle. And when people accuse him of those kind of things, we just dismiss that, because we know that he's not that kind of a leader. His track record speaks for itself, and we can't. But others who were proposing that, I mean, you can go and check their track record. And we are not trying to say anyone, but you can check their track record. Is very questionable. And we are not surprised that they were coming with those kind of advices or those kind of proposals. So we feel very safe. I feel very safe as the leader of the EFF, as an activist. I think that the president has the best interest of the country and the EFF as an organization.
As we gravitate towards the EFF Third National People's Assembly in December, which will take place between the 12th and the 15th, what are your expectations, and what do you think the conference should resolve in order to safeguard the organization against opportunism and possible infiltration, which we have witnessed in the past and which we are currently perhaps dealing with at this point in time?
I think that that conference or the assembly of the EFF must not only be about election of leadership, but I think that conference is a do or die of the EFF in terms of how will we come out of that conference. Not to say do or die that people are going to fight. Do or die in terms of paving a way forward after everything that is happening on how do we approach the next coming 5 years. Of course, there will be local government elections and so forth and so forth. So how do we approach the ground? How do we go and explain to our people that we are from the conference, we have renewed the mandate, these are the things that we want to look into. These are the service delivery issues that we think that our people deserve to have. These are the implementation of the policies of the EFF and the 7 cardinal pillars and all that. So we are going to have to deliberate a lot in terms of policy and also the communication of our policies, particularly the immigration policy, that many people choose to distort it and say other things. We have to come very hard on that in terms of communication. We have to explain it correctly, and we must not shift on that, because if we are going to be an organization that change because there are certain views, then we're not going to sustain this organization. We rather go and explain to our people. There are many things that happen when the ANC was banned, and when the ANC also came from exile prior 1994, that people were not agreeing with, but they end up adjusting and adapting into those things. So I don't think there's much that is going to happen in terms of what the doomsayers are saying, fights and all that. We're going to have a peaceful assembly, and we're going to have more engagements. And I think people of South Africa must look forward for progressive policy decisions that are going to come from that assembly.
Do you know of any member of the EFF or any leader of the EFF who's hanging on the fence, whom I can say they are doing double packing in the EFF, and it's only the matter of time that they jump ship? Is there anyone that you suspect, or in good authority, where you have heard that, okay, this one could be leaving? Is there someone that we need to doubt?
I don't know the people who've left. Do they announce? I don't know if they announce that next week I'm leaving. But I think we have outgrown that situation. I think the most shocking one was the one of the former deputy president, which we were done. We are done mourning, as the president have advised us correctly. So we're okay. We have moved on. He has moved on, and the rest that happened, I'm not. I don't feel like it has any impact in any way. Most of them, we were already doubting them. Without announcing or without giving any impression. I think the double packings, most of them have left. We saw them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were double packings, a lot of double packings that we have witnessed over the past years. So I think also we must not be scared that who will leave.
Okay.
We have to understand that that plan of collapsing us about people who leave, it has done no harm to us.
Yeah.
And we have suffered that time because we were shocked.
Yeah.
And also the deputy president and the president relationship gave us an impression that there are no problems. Now, when it happened, we were not shocked because we are asking for him to come back. We were just shocked of the situation. And I think if we survive that, there's no storm that is going to come.
Yeah.
We are done. Anyone can leave now, I think so.
Yeah.
If Obakeng wants to leave, Obakeng can leave. The EFF has survived that, and the EFF is not going to be manipulated anymore about the people who leave. We are waiting for people who are coming to join. Of course, they are joining every day.
Yeah.
But, of course, if there are figures that are well known, we will know from the media and all that. But I think we're fine. We must just go and focus as branch leaders. I mean, we've met branches of the EFF together with the SG when we were preparing for the Constitutional Court Pala case. We have witnessed that all 107 wards in Tshwane are intact. There's leadership there. And they are in a great mood. They are not moved by the developments. Of course, there will be talks. These are politics there and there. But I don't think we are at the stage where we are scared that who's going to leave. I mean, we're at the stage that those who want to leave, they are welcome. Because also this thing of leaving, when we joined, there was no halabaloo. When we joined, we just took that form and we read that form and we understood that we are volunteers of the EFF. Then we signed it and we paid the 10 rand. Now, if you have to leave, you have to make noise. I don't think it's wise, people who want to leave can leave quietly, and let's see if we can continue with this thing.
Yeah.
But abahamba isohlala siye shova.
Yeah, please Hlala a chair, because I'm always traumatized by people who come here and all of a sudden you hear that the person has.
This is the chair of people who are leaving.
So please don't leave. So please don't leave. I hope from you sitting there won't be any other person who's leaving the economic freedom fighters. Now, let's talk about the progressive unity.
Sure.
Considering the political moment that we're in, what do you think needs to happen going forward? I understand on the battlefield, we contest each other, MKP, EFF, any other role player in the progressive caucus. But the EFF has got its own unique approach when it comes to progressive unity, especially from an African perspective. What do you think needs to happen as far as progressive unity is concerned?
I think the leadership is capable to deal with that, the national leadership. Of course, there are issues that are happening, but I don't think we must fall into those issues. We must just check if that unity is a genuine unity, and we don't get too excited about it, because we don't know what is the plan. But if the unity is about using the EFF or poaching the members of the EFF, it means it's not a unity. It must be clear, and we must understand, are you using the EFF to build your organization, or you are using the EFF to be relevant, and all that and all that. And I think if it's like that, we don't have to be part of that. We will meet maybe later. Because now if someone feel like you are using me, you are poaching my members, you get excited every week, you want to announce someone who's leaving the EFF, I mean, and then we say it's unity. I don't think
it's not.
It's a real unity. But I don't think also the leadership must go and make an emotional decision. And I think they are capable of making informed decision, because some of us who are still juniors, so we may get emotional and say, "Yeah, this thing of MK." Yeah, and the leadership is looking maybe at the bigger picture, and we want to be guided by the leadership, and they will guide us accordingly on what must happen. But I think it's necessary to have a unity. It's necessary to have progressive black parties to unite. I'm of the view that we are defeated by FF Plus and DA in terms of that approach. They can differ, but they will always be together. It doesn't matter what are the issues. They always stick together. If you can see the trend where the DA is not part of government, FF Plus doesn't involve itself into government. Where the DA is not part of government in Gauteng, FF Plus also boycott in solidarity for the DA. So they are working together in the communities, but they criticize each other. They sometimes disagree. I mean, there's a certain municipality where they vote against each other. So I think that we have to know that we can have a working relationship differing, but we must not take advantage of each other and use each other in a way where the public will think that other parties are using other ones for their self-interest.
Let's talk about the waste management trucks. There was a crisis regarding the trucks in the city of Tshwane. How are you dealing with that situation?
No, during my arrival, I found that they've already appointed a yellow plant waste management truck tender, which, the EFF is against tenders, but because we are not government, we are co-governing, we are cooperating, and we are monitoring all the processes, because we understand the damage that the tender system has caused over many years in this country, in the municipalities, in the provincial government, including in the national government. Now, there were compliances that were required into the fleet that was advertised by the city. And many people felt that they are going to be excluded into that requirement. Some of them was the issues of the tracker. Some of them was the issues of the years of the truck, the motor plan, and some of them was the insurance. Some of them was making sure that if you have submitted the names and the registration numbers of the trucks, if there are 5, you don't come back and change it. Even when your truck, you are changing the truck, you are buying a new one and all that. So while looking into that, we are not in a plan to review any tender. We are just going to look on issues that can be relaxed for our people to be able to be part of the system. Because as I speak, over 45 of invoices are not paid because of the compliance, because of some of the compliance that they must follow. Working with the Auditor General and making sure that we follow things in a good manner, in a correct way, we are going to start and see if we can assist them. But what we can say is that that tender thing of trucks is not what the EFF likes and the EFF want in terms of that department that I'm running. That department, I've discovered that we don't even own even a TLB. We don't even own even a tipper truck. We rely on private sector and outsource. As that being said, I've already requested and instructed the management to go and make a study and try to come with a concept or come with a plan on how can we procure our own fleet in this new financial year, so that we can have at least few of our plant, and we make sure that in terms of emergency, when we have to go and save our people, we don't always rely on the service providers. And also the service providers, I've already indicated to the group head of my department that there are certain things that we need to look into. One of them is the issue of the workers who works for the service providers. Some of them stayed 3 months without being paid. Some of them, they don't get to be given the tools of trade. And we think that we need to intervene in that space and making sure that it must be compulsory that these service providers take care of their workers and making sure that they get necessary equipment to make sure that they execute the mandate that they got from the municipality. But in future, I think those workers must be absorbed. They must work for the city, which is in sourcing of workers. That we pride ourselves. I mean, we have insourced close to 1,400 security on the phase 1. We are now going for the phase 2 in the city of Tshwane. So we think that the drivers who drives the trucks of those service providers in the next financial year or in the next tender, the requirements must be that you give us a fleet, we come with the work force. And that workforce will be workers of the municipality who have benefits, who have medical aid, who have all the UIF and all that. I mean, that environment of the waste is a very dangerous environment. Some of them get sick of working in that environment. And when you check their salary, you check even their benefits, there's nothing that they can write home about. And so we think that as the process of trying to have an internal fleet, of course, we can't get rid of this private trucks now, because we have to build capacity in the department, and it's going to take us time. But we must start at least with the phase 1 of having at least a few tipper trucks and TLB for our regions. I know that the tender people are going to fight me, but it's very wrong to rely on private sector, because I was in Atteridgeville last 2 weeks and I saw an illegal dumping. And I asked one of the management that, can't you call TLB so that we get rid of this illegal dumping? They just told me that the TLBs, they are not working during weekends because of their rate, because of the price that they charge in the department. So they decided not to utilize them on weekends, only during the week. So imagine if we had our own we were just going to call a management or call a worker of the municipality. That person was going to come and assist us on that illegal dumping. So there are many issues, but
So
also
that speaks to building state capacity.
it speaks to that. But it's there are many people who are pushing back. There are many people who thinks that that truck thing is it's a way to go. I mean, we spend that department only alone spends close to 600 million per annum, but it's the highest department in terms of the revenue. We give the city close to 2 billion on the waste collections, on the resorts that we have. We make sure that there's a revenue. Also, those resorts, we have to zoom into that and make sure that there's a work that must be done, the renovation. And
Like your fountains.
yes, like your fountains. We used to have a restaurant called Moyo in that fountains. We don't have that anymore. We need to open that space for the potential investors to come in so that our place must be more exciting. I mean, in the swimming pools.
Revenue collection as
In
well.
the swimming pools, we have about 7 swimming pools, and we only have 2 lifeguards. I mean, it means some swimming pools we have to rely on the private NGOs to come and help us in terms of the lifeguards, because we don't want any swimming pool that is utilized without having lifeguards. So we have discovered many things in the 3 weeks, the corruption that is happening in the resorts. We have introduced a cashless system. We don't want cash in the resorts. But we also discovered that even when we introduce cashless, there are workers who are trying to take money illegally from the residents or from our customers. But we've seen made measures. We are trying to also zoom into our cameras in the resorts and making sure that areas are safe, such as Riksvlei. Riksvlei is our nature reserve, which has a lot of animals of the city, and we have to secure those institutions and those areas. We in the last 2 weeks we were dealing with an attempt of the water contamination, that truck that fall from the Ikuruleng with the petrol, and it went straight to our dam, and we had a progressive teams that made sure that our water is not contaminated, because most of the water, particularly in the Riksvlei side, we also rely on it is a drinkable water, of course, after necessarily cleaning of water and making sure that it's purified and it's cleaned for people to drink it.
Yeah, quite mouthful. And it reflects exactly, or it resonates quite well with the initiative Reaspana.
Yes.
So indeed, the boots are on the ground and we can feel it.
We are working, yes.
Yeah, so we really want to appreciate your time, MMC, for coming through here and sharing with us some of your plans. And we really want to wish you well in your 100-day plan of action.
Yeah, then we must be invited in the
To report back, ne?
to report, because
Yeah.
we have published the 100 days program in the statement of the EFF, but we are also publishing that to the media so that we are held accountable, because we can't be saying 100 days and there's no one who tick the box if we've already achieved whatever 100 days that we have spoken about. Yes.
Song of the day, before I let you go?
The song of the day, it's a song of pleasure. And
What is pleasure saying on that one?
pleasure is
Hayo hole.
saying EFF, I hold Mokhatwa EFF. And that's what we are saying. The EFF must grow, and we must make sure that we are not part of the people who destroy the organization. And we must work the ground and be honest as revolutionaries and make sure that in the departments that we lead, there's no corruption.
Thank you very much, MMC, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
Equally, thank you very much to you, the people of South Africa, Africa, and the diaspora for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the EFF YouTube channel for more episodes on the EFF podcast. We've come to the end of the show. My name is Titus Tsugu Herkotramsega Ratsoleka. Kai, the MMC is dancing here. Yeah, I hold EFF indeed. Kanmab.